Christy Lois from Dostoevsky in Space. It is February 1st, the beginning of Feb Regency. Well, I just finished most of my work for today. I'm in front of my green screen. Woo! But I really wanted to start my Feb Regency vlog. I'm about to finish up my work for the day and then go for a walk. And then I will be watching part of a K-drama with Kate Howe and some people on Instagram. It's called Startup. It's exciting. So my mom's been here all day and helping me clean the house. So nice of her. It's been a really good day. I started Ivanhoe last night. I'm excited about it. I pretty much only finished the introduction, but on Emma's poetry night, one of the patrons sent in a clip of them reading a poem by Sir Walter Scott, and I was like totally convinced that I need to read more of him. So even though I'm a little bit nervous that he's gonna be hard to read, I'm excited to try it. I'm probably gonna focus on Ivanhoe. I'm like 25% through the Mysteries of Udolpho so far, and I'm finding it pretty fun. It's very over the top in a story sense, but there's a lot of beautiful descriptions of the travels throughout Italy and all these other places. What is this book set? It's like, I don't know. And I finished already Persuasion in Mansfield Park in the last couple months, kind of prepping for this, and also just because I really wanted to. I haven't started Shakespeare yet. That will be on my list. What else am I planning to do? Probably most of what I'm going to be talking about. The Tempest. I'm going to be reading the Dorothy Wordsworth journals. That's Emma's Discord buddy read. I will check in a little bit later. Bye. Hi guys, it is February 9th. I don't know why I always am coming to you for this vlog when I'm like totally beat. It's just that kind of day. But I've been listening to Butter to try and amp myself up, and I think it's helped. I've been trying to figure out this mic stand. It's kind of a riddle. So I'm going to continue with the Feb Regency updates. I read The Tempest. The Tempest, which was one of the options on my original Feb Regency TBR. I read because it won all the votes. I had people vote on what Shakespeare play they wanted me to read, and this one won by quite a bit, and I can see why. So this is about a tempest. Big surprise for me. I didn't realize it was going to be a literal tempest, so it was really actually pretty exciting that it was. A tempest blows a crew of a ship to a deserted island, and they get separated on the island. And they run into a righteous and royal sorcerer who was shipwrecked there earlier, and his beautiful daughter. There's like magical creatures on the island, like a monstrous person on the island. I don't know. It's really fun. It's very magical feeling. I feel like people who like fantasy would really enjoy this play. It's also very short, which is nice. And there's so many things in it that just comes straight into our culture today. Like, story of my life is from here. Story of my life. Can you believe that? There's more too. Brave New World from this. And I feel like it influenced a lot of things as well. There's a quote in here that sounds like it must have influenced the Pirates of the Caribbean, because it really just sounds just like that, like Dead Man's Chest. Full fathom 5 thy father lies. Of his bones are coral made. Those are pearls that were his eyes. Nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. Sea nymphs hourly ring his knell. One guy on this island is trying to convince another guy to murder one of their companions. And so the companion that they want to murder is asleep. And the guy's like, look, he's asleep. I mean, how different is that from death, really? It won't even hurt him. Just kill him right now. It's like, wow, that's convincing. And there's another guy who's like really irritated with his like servant guy. And he's like, if you don't just shut up with this hand, I will supplant some of your teeth. Shakespeare just has such a turn of the phrase. This was so colorful, and I feel like that really fits with the Regency period. I feel like they enjoyed magical, wondrous, colorful things. They particularly enjoyed color. After reading some of the poetry, I was like, romance. Other things. Ivanhoe. So I haven't finished this one. I'm like 91 pages in, 81, 91, something like that. It's so good, guys. It is so easy to read. And I never really looked at the cover, but like, there's a knight Like, why didn't I ever realize this before? That it would be about a knight in shining armor and the Crusades and King John. It's like a Robin Hood setting. Robin Hood hasn't showed up, but is this a Robin Hood retelling? Maybe. Anyways, it's got like the strict forest laws. It's got the evil King John who's kind of trying to take over while Richard the Lionheart is out at the Crusades. It's got a jester, really portrays the times extremely well. Sir Walter Scott is an extremely good historical fiction author, and he actually invented the genre of historical fiction. So far in this book, I don't know who the main guy is except for Ivanhoe, whom we haven't met at this point, but basically we're following a bunch of kind of characters that are brought together to a jousting tournament. The tournament scene is one of my absolute favorite tournament scenes that I've ever read. I love tournament scenes. I read The Protector of the Small series and like all the Tamora Pierce fantasies, and the tournament scenes were like my favorite thing. I loved the descriptions of jousting and the horses with their names, and it was so fun to read this. Their lances are breaking all over the place. It's so fun. It's so entertaining. This is the exact kind of book that I would recommend to a person who loves fantasy and wants to get into classics, because it's actually pretty readable. I wouldn't say this is hard to read at all. I, for some reason, had the impression that this was hard to read, but it's really not. Faith from Faith in Books told us in Kate House Patreon, it's not really that hard to read that I recall. Yeah, he talks about like the different tensions between the Normans who had invaded England and between them and the Anglo-Saxons who were there living before the Normans came, and the kinds of things they argued about and the cultural divide and all the settings and the lodgings. I love it so much. So I'm going to continue on with this one. So listen to this description of the pavilions at the jousting tournament. I feel like there's probably even better quotes that I could pick from here, but I loved this part about the pavilions. On a platform behind the southern entrance, formed by a natural elevation of the ground, were pitched 5 magnificent pavilions, adorned with pennons of russet and black, the chosen colors of the 5 knights challengers. The cords of the tents were of the same color. Before each pavilion was suspended the shield of the knight by whom it was occupied, and beside it stood his squire, quaintly disguised as a salvage or sylvan man, or in some other fantastic dress, according to the taste of his master, and the character he was pleased to assume during the game. And then he has a little side note. This sort of masquerade is supposed to have occasioned the introduction of supporters into the science of heraldry. I did complete my poetry prompt before the month even began, because we had our poetry salon night with Emma the Bookish Princess, and she's posted that video already, so I'll include it up here and down below. Everybody brought these really lovely poems that really like reflected their interests and personalities. It was a great fun video. I've been really enjoying conversations I've been having with everybody about their Regency picks. And then also the letters of Dorothy Wordsworth. She's a stunning writer. Her descriptions of nature are like, wow, so good. Day bird party outside. They're enjoying each other's company. My mom is here. Hey guys, it's February 23rd. We are getting to the end of Feb Regency, and hi. I just can't believe it's almost over. I'm still reading Ivanhoe. I am at 81%. I'm really still enjoying it. I have not even gone back to the Dorothy Wordsworth journals, even though they're honestly gorgeous. But yeah, maybe I'll include a few quotes in here for you guys, because even just the very beginning where I was reading just really impressed me so much. Today I got this really delicious milkshake. I should have taken a picture, but it was called like the Death by Chocolate Shake or something by Superburger, which is one of our favorite restaurants to go to after my medical appointments. It just looks so good. Like, I think just looking at it will fill you guys up. Okay, I will talk to you again at the end of the month. Hey guys, it's February 28th, the last day of Feb Regency, and I today made my Scotch eggs recipe. I was so excited to make this, so I'm just going to be making that, and you can listen to me in the background. So here we go. Let's start with the Mysteries of Udolpho. So this is a book that is mentioned frequently in Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. It follows a young woman by the name of Emily St. Aubert, who lives in Gascony with her mother and father. They live a very isolated and sweet life in the mountains with a beautiful estate, when suddenly death strikes down her mother. And Emily has a very fanciful, sort of dramatic nature, so the death of her mother hits her very hard. Her father has some good advice for her. That's one of the things that I liked about this book, is some of the reflections on life that especially her father gives her. "Above all, my dear Emily," he said, "do not indulge in the pride of fine feeling, the romantic error of amiable minds. Those who really possess sensibility ought early to be taught that it is a dangerous quality which is continually extracting the excess of misery or delight from every surrounding circumstance. And since, in our passage through this world, painful circumstances occur more frequently than pleasing ones, and since our sense of evil is, I fear, more acute than our sense of good, we become the victims of our feelings, unless we can in some degree command them," which was really great advice. But he is sort of commanded by his misery in a lot of ways, which is interesting. When his wife dies, he just cannot seem to handle it. But there's hints that, there might be some mysteries in his background. So she and her father end up going on a trip with many lovely vistas and views, and this is where my interest was really gained because it's gorgeous. All the descriptions of the area, I'm not going to quote any because they're kind of long, but those are really the highlight of this first third of the book, let's say. The descriptions of France and of Italy a little bit later are beautiful. The plot eventually will take us there. However, I'm not going to talk too much about the plot because I don't want to spoil anything because there's not too much of it in the first third. The plot I really struggled with in the first third quite a bit. There's a lot of foreshadowing of the future secrets to come. So this landscape with the Alps did indeed present a perfect picture of the lovely and the sublime, of beauty sleeping in the lap of horror. So it's like, yeah, okay, we get the foreshadowing. Thanks. Emma has been talking about how she went ahead and continued it anyway because the plot got better. And while I was cooking today, I started listening to it, and she's right. Actually, the plot does improve, like shortly after the 1/3 mark. And Ivanhoe! I finished! Woo! This one was primarily plot driven, although all the characters are recognizable and often very well drawn, even if they're sort of simple in a lot of ways. Certain characters get a lot of attention. There's a strong Jewish presence, and it is shown the kind of anti-Semitism that they faced during that time. And the journals of Dorothy Wordsworth, unfortunately, I did not get any farther in them, but they're really, really lovely. I really love her descriptions. It's just pure poetry. She was staying in the Lake District and keeping this journal uninterruptedly from January 1798 to May 1798, and there was like visitors of other famous poets, so really, really fun. Absolutely loved it. Wish I could have gotten further into it. But yeah. Anyway, that was my Feb Regency. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. I hope that you will let me know down in the comments what you read and what you enjoyed and any other thoughts that you have on this vlog. Okay, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye!